All right, guys, we should be live. I don't know if anybody's on here yet. If they are, thank you guys for tuning in. We've got Alan from Black Belt Waterfowl, per usual. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, head over there, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We've got Alex with us from True Southern Waterfowler. Go check out his channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And we've also got Jake from Chasing Green, and we highly recommend his channel. If you haven't checked out Chasing Green, go check his videos out. They upload some awesome hunt videos, some awesome crappie fishing videos. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. He's starting to want to go YouTube live and do these little streams like we're doing. Hit that notification bell, guys. That way you're notified every time we go live. And I can already see we got some guys on here. MP Outdoors is on.
Duckalope.
We got Duckalope on here. W6, what's up?
What's going on?
Duckalope, as always, he's on here. W6, you guys are on here. MP, appreciate you guys always jumping on here as soon as we go live. We really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you got any questions for Jake, or if you don't know who Jake is from Chasing Green, let us know. We got Ashley, Alan's wife. We also got a buddy of mine, Jay Tate, on here. What's up, Derek? What's up, Jay? Appreciate you joining tonight, buddy.
Yeah, arm wrestler?
Looks like
yeah. I think at one time, and when he was in high school still, he was doing the arm wrestling thing, and I think he actually ranked up pretty high in the left arm category. Mud Ducks on here. What's up, man? Thank you guys for tuning in and joining. I really appreciate y'all. In case y'all didn't know, we've got Jake from Chasing Green with us tonight. If you haven't checked out his channel, we highly recommend go check out his channel. Hit that subscribe button. They make awesome videos over there. Alaskan Viking, what's up, man?
What is up, everybody?
Finally got that thing shared. That took forever.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. But
What were you trying to share?
This on my channel.
Oh, I got you. Awesome. Did it work?
Yeah, we got it. We got it now.
That's cool. If you guys got any questions off the bat or any topics you want to hear us talk about, hit that thumbs up button too. That's what I'm talking about, man. Hit that thumbs up button, guys. That really helps us out, helps our channel. We really appreciate it. We can't wait for duck season neither, MP. We ready. It's been a long, hot week, and I was really looking forward to the chat tonight, and let's talk about some duck hunting, baby.
Oh, sure.
I'm not seeing any questions come in yet, so we'll go over here, and I got a question for you guys, and I think, everybody's may be different. Some may be the same, but I'm really curious to know who is your duck hunting or goose hunting idol?
Who wants to go first?
Well, I'll take that one. It's pretty easy for me. Ain't no doubt about it. Phil Robertson. We kind of grew up in the same area that he's from. I mean, we're not an hour from him, so they were pretty big even before they got big to everybody else around our area. And I mean, they just hunted just like us, did things just like us. So, I mean, they were the real deal in our opinions. And, they talk about Jesus all the time. So that's right up our alley, and can't get much better than them. I'm wearing one of their hats right now, actually.
Yep.
Hey, Jake, you want to do a quick little background on yourself? A couple people they don't
know who Jake is.
Quick intro on who you are.
Sure, man. Me and my partner, Glenn Adams, we started a YouTube channel. It's called Chasing Green. We're from Arkansas. We hunt 90% public ground, and we just figured we'd start filming that and kind of trying to help other people become better public land hunters or just better duck hunters in general. I've been duck hunting my entire life, basically. Started when I was maybe 2 or 3. My dad and his buddies were super into it. So that's pretty much it, man. We're just a couple of regular guys that duck hunt every single day we can, and decided to start filming it.
Nice.
And your channel's been, I mean, you know, how long you been doing it, Jake? And it's been pretty successful.
We've been doing it for 3 seasons now, and it's up and down as to how we feel about it. Sometimes it feels like we're moving nowhere, and sometimes it's like, yeah, this ain't going. And so I'm sure you guys know how it is.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I think YouTube is seasonal, just like, you know, our hunting season is. You know, it's got its up and its downs, and it gets stagnant at times. You know, and then it's, you know, full speed ahead. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. He said he's going to go check you out. Definitely do it, Duckalope, man. They make some awesome videos. You're going to love these guys.
Sure, appreciate it.
And again, we get back to my question. Here we got another one. It looks like public land management, and should they be doing a better job for duck hunters? I think he's talking about like wildlife management areas, refuges, like kind of like what we do over here. Jay's talking about the draw system and things like that. Should they be doing more, you know, because some of them are run down. I know what he's talking about. Some of them are not well managed, and some are managed very well. So I think that's what he's saying. I want y'all's opinion on that. I don't even know if Jake or, you know, Alan is familiar with anything like that.
I mean, like I've hunted Colorado in the past, and they have a really good public management system. They seem to have almost, like in Colorado, they had like, you know, 5 or 6 right there, and then they had one localized game warden, and they just kind of, you know, make their rounds, and they were all well taken care of. So that's the little experience I have with that. Down here in Louisiana, they're WMAs. They're not really, I guess they're management to a degree, but I don't know. I've got mixed feelings. I don't know. I'll just next. Just I don't know.
Well, as far as Alabama goes, we don't have a draw system like y'all do in Mississippi. And as far as our WMAs, it's primarily deer hunting. There's really no waterfowl, wetlands, or anything on our WMAs. It's mostly for deer hunting and turkey hunting, things like that. So there's little to zero, you know, wetland habitat that the state or anybody funds around here. And I know there are a few places up in the northern part of the state that Ducks Unlimited has came in and done some, you know, some wetland habitat restoration and things like that. But in all honesty, man, like where I live and where I hunt, the Corps of Engineers is our worst enemy, because every time some native aquatic vegetation starts growing that the ducks would be feeding on, the first thing they do is they come in there and they spray it, because they don't want it. They don't want it to break loose whenever the river rises and it gets hung up in the dam and at the powerhouse, because we have a power plant right at our dam where they got the power turbines and all that. So they try to spray anything that comes up that's not rooted down. Like we got tons and tons of sawgrass up here, but it's not going to go anywhere with the floodwater. But anything that's growing off the bottom, any type of milfoil or duckweed or smartweed or anything like that comes up, the first thing they do is they go in there and spray it. And I know back in 2011 we had a lot of it here. They had just kind of let it go for a few years, and man, the hunting went, the duck hunting went way up. It was way better here. Having some trouble with it, getting caught up in the turns and stuff at the powerhouse and causing lots of trouble, and they started spraying, and it's just been on the steady decline ever since they did it. Now they make a point 2 or 3 times a year during the spring and summer to ride around in an airboat and spray everything out in these river flats. So it's
crazy.
They're killing us over here. You know? But I mean, I understand their point why they're doing it, but at the same time, I think that maybe a wildlife biologist should be able to say, "Hey, man, look, you're destroying habitat," you know. But their main concern is get that water flowing so we can generate power. They kill us. They hurt us.
Jake?
Man, here in Arkansas, they do a pretty good job of managing. We're kind of having a little bit of issues with the timber right now, just flooding it for so many years. So they're kind of trying to balance how they're going to deal with that. I don't know what they're going to do. But as far as like draw hunts, thankfully, we don't have any of that. And if we did, I'd probably be easing on somewhere else. I couldn't imagine that, man. Like just not being able to go where you want or when you want. I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like anything else. There's some pros and cons to it, because again, some of those management areas are well harvested. With moist soil, and some of them, again, they're managed really good, and some of them are not. So you can actually find some along the Mississippi River that are, holding and producing a lot of ducks, and it's good to get on that hole, because once you do get that hole, or you get drawed for it, or you get a standby, whatever, that case may be, you're guaranteed to that hole. I was showing Alan and Alex last night, one of them over here, they've actually went in and built some 4-man duck blinds on them. And you can ride you side by side right up to them, and you're liable to be hunting a millet field or a rice field or a corn field. Who knows what it's going to be till you get there. But then you've got a whole 80 acres to yourself that's just yours that nobody else can come on. So, but again, there you're dealing with somebody deciding on whether you get to hunt here or not. So that again, it can be a bad situation.
Well, I guess like here, it's a lot more of a lot of big areas, so it's kind of like an adventure in itself going to find them. If they told me where to go and I just had to go there and hope for the best, I mean, scouting and finding these new places, and it's not always the best thing, but you got a lot of competition in Arkansas, and that's kind of part of it. Like you got guys around you, and it kind of becomes part of the game. And I'd miss it, I guess, if it was tamed down a little bit.
Yeah, so I do have a question then, Derek. I mean, with our draws that we're trying to get on for Mississippi, that pretty much takes away the scouting, right? I mean, it doesn't matter because we get drawn for a specific hole. So am I right? Am I wrong on that, or what? I mean, I guess you can scout the general area, but
I mean, no, you're right, but essentially, that they work that river system. So the idea is the closer you get to the river system, you're going to be getting into the ducks. If you've got this property that, has that moist soil where they've harvested and they've got all this food for the ducks, there should be ducks there. Now, what you run into is that, let's say this WMA has 20-something holes. Well, ducks may only be utilizing like 5 of those holes. Mm-hmm. So your hunt may be spent on one hole and listening to some guys on another hole, just, not too far from you, and you hear them shooting all day long just because, for whatever reason, the ducks like that hole better. And then it changes year round from what I have experienced, because, 1 year, one hole may be successful, and then you think, man, I can't wait to get back to that hole again, and you go and they like another hole that year. They're not utilizing that hole anymore. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, but the overall mindset is that there should already be ducks there. You shouldn't have to scout it. We've managed it. We've got the location. There should be ducks here. If there's ducks in the area, from weather, and all those things come to play. You guys know that.
I got you.
So Alaska, Alaska Vikings up there, there's no type of draw systems or anything like that. Duckalope right there, no draw stuff. In Virginia, Midwest, kind of just depends on where you're going. So I think you got places like that, like Jake's saying, Arkansas, they don't really have anything like that because isn't beneficial for Arkansas. Why they don't have something like that in Alabama kind of blows my mind, but we've got them over here all up and down the Mississippi River. There's several of them.
Well, I'll tell you why they don't have it in Alabama. There aren't any ducks there.
Nah. Well, got some wood ducks. That's about it.
Hey,
there is there's plenty of divers down at the bay down around Mobile. there is one place, and I don't even know the name of it because I've never looked into it. Because I mean, I kind of look at it like this: why in the world would you want to get in a waterfowl draw in Alabama? So I've never researched it, but I do know there is one WMA in the northern part of the state. It's up around Decatur, maybe even a little bit further north. It's up around that Wheeler Lake area up in there on Tennessee River. There is one draw system up there, and they've got blinds and all kind of stuff out there, and they do plan a few things, but it's more closer to Mississippi. It's more closer to like over around Corinth and up that way. You know, it's right over there in that area. So that's the only place I know of. There's none down here.
I got you. Hey, real quick about scouting. I heard Arkansas is you can't scout the week before the season and you can't scout during the split anymore. Is that true?
Yeah, man, just more rules. It's crazy. I guess which on some places there are people just running their boats around constantly, but it's never been a problem for us. But yeah, they're pretty much trying to stop people from riding their boats that day before duck season, you know, that Friday, and then right before the split starts back in, which you got to get out of there by 1 anyway. So pretty much your scouting is while you're hunting, or you just burn that morning and not hunt, and you just go scout, which is what we'll do a lot of times.
I guess you could do a lot of crappie fishing.
Yeah, that's what we'll be doing, I guess. Crazy, man. Which, you know, the federal ground's not like that. You can still go on most of the federal ground. Like,
okay. It's just state
wildlife refuges. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. At least anything that's kind of like a river system, you know, typically they'll let you get out there and fish or do whatever you want to do. There's not really time sets on most of those like it is on the state, you know, green tree reservoirs.
Yeah, okay. Because I got a buddy that hunts near the cache, and he was kind of just informed me of it. Because my thought was that's going to have a huge effect on outsiders.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have a connection, you know, like I said, my Arkansas brothers, and I rely heavily on their ability just to be local.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious on how much that's going to affect outsiders coming to that state now, and you know,
yeah,
for the economy as far as waterfowl goes.
Yeah, it's kind of a bad deal to me. I don't like it, but like I said, I have seen some areas to where it is pretty bad. I mean, you'll have a group of ducks out there for A4 duck season, literally like 30 or 40 people run them up, you know, in boats going to look at them. So I don't know. It's whatever. We really don't care. We just kind of roll with the punches and we'll figure out something, you know.
Yeah, so that's all you can do.
Yeah.
That's right.
Jake, we got a question up here for you, bud. This guy's Josh. He's asking, what's your favorite shell shot size and choke combination for ducks?
Yeah, me and Glenn both, and pretty much everybody we hunt with straight uses pattern mashers. So we got those, and we're big believers, buddy. I mean, I've never seen anything that'll kill a greenhead quicker. So we're not too big on the shells, but I typically use number 3s. Unless we're in the field or something, then I'll use number 2s. And if we're hunting specs, I mean, I'll go BB if I have to. And Glenn's the same. He typically uses number 2s, number 3s. That number 3 is like the perfect mix, man. You got the pellets of the number 4, but a little bit more size to them. So that's usually what I use.
Awesome. And we've got another, Seth Green's dropped right here. Swan Creek WMA. I've never heard of that. Have you guys? I don't know where that is.
I think that's that WMA that I was talking about in the northern part of the state. I think that's what he was telling. He was telling the name of it.
All right. Duckalo, go-to call for mallards and why? And anybody that wants to start can answer that. Whoever wants to go first.
My question is, what is a mallard?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well,
I'll let somebody else answer that.
As far as I'm concerned, I have always used. There's a guy here locally he's a custom call maker, who makes duck calls, and he actually learned how to make it from. And Glenn, you may know or heard of the man. I don't know his first name, but the man that made the tailor-made duck calls in Arkansas. You ever heard of those?
Mm-mm.
He's somewhere around Stuttgart in that area. I want to say Edward or Edwin Taylor. I'm not really sure. Anyway, he Mr. David Gaston's from here locally, and he's got a lease in Arkansas. He's been hunting up there for 20, 30 years, and Mr. Taylor took him under his wing, and as he got up in age, and taught him how to make calls, and he's been doing it ever since. Well, he obviously makes calls now, but anyway, I've used one of his calls. It's called a Gaston custom call. He's got a website. He's on Instagram as well. But I've used his calls for years. They're really nice calls. I like them. They're a little bit harder to blow. Takes a lot of air. But I told him that, hey, I called him up and I said, man, I need a call that's not so hard to blow. And he said, sure, come on down here. So I went down to his shop and he custom made me an insert for it with a smaller bore that had more back pressure and didn't take as much air to blow it with. And so that was that's the convenience of a custom call, I guess. But recently, I picked up a Jargon game call. I don't know if you ever heard of them. This one's called the Chit Chat. It's a single reed call, J-frame, Arkansas style call, and it's pretty sweet. So this will be my go-to call next year, this upcoming season. So, but I'll have my Gaston close by because I got faith in it. But we're gonna play with the new one, see how it goes.
Jake?
Next man.
Well, for me, man, I've blown the same call forever, and it's an Echo single reed timber Coca-Cola. This Coca-Cola, really any wood call, anybody that's blown a lot of knows this. Like 1 out of every 10 is just a banger call, and the other ones are usually okay because that wood density is just different, and every piece of wood is different, so every call is going to sound a little bit different. I just got super blessed to get a awesome one, and I don't ever change. I mean, I can pretty much do everything I need to do on it, and I have been thinking about getting a double reed Coca-Cola timber by them, but just so I can still have that intensity, but be a little quieter. But pretty much the Echo is what we all blow. Everybody that we duck hunt with, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, I got the exact call you have, Jake, except I got the double reed, and I absolutely love it. But
they're good calls, man.
I got one from 737. It's a single reed. It sounds pretty good too, but 99.9% of the time when I reach for a mallard call, it's going to be that Echo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not got to try the 737. They don't really do retailers. I think they're direct.
Yeah, they're direct.
We would always go to Max Prairie Wings, and I mean, you can just blow any call you want there at the call counter, which would be crazy right now with COVID, but you can do it, Yeah. So we'd always try them first, and I could never get my hands on a 737.
And I just got lucky. I hunted with a buddy, and he had a 737. I said, hey man, you mind if I give that a go? And I really liked it, but like you said, I like to go and try these calls. I don't like buying stuff online, and you don't get to feel it, sound, all that stuff. So
yeah.
But yeah. So like I said, I go 99.9% of the time with the Echo.
Well, my go-to call is the Duck Commander Mallard Drake whistle. I will not go duck hunt without that call.
Derek.
It's on my lanyard as well.
Yeah, I just as far as Mallard, I don't know what Alex is doing over there.
He's roboting.
He's telling us how big that fish was he caught.
But yeah, mine would be because the ducks are so pressured over here in North Mississippi. and that whistle is just, I think, a lot more comforting to them. And to me, it seems to be more effective than, quacking at them with a greeting call or chattering at them or anything like that. So, I mean, honestly, especially late season when we get into January, that's usually the only call I'm really trying to use, is that Mallard Drake whistle from Duck Commander. And if you guys don't have one, I highly recommend you go get one if you hunt mallards.
It's the best mallard call on the market for sure, in my opinion. And you can do, just about everything else with it whistle wise too. So
that's right. I mean, you can call wood ducks, widgeon, teal with it, but it's like you said, as far as that Mallard Drake sound, it's the best one you're gonna find, hands down, in my opinion, too. And we lost Alex, but we've got another really good question right here, guys, from Josh. Most memorable duck hunt in your life and why?
That is a really good question.
Well,
I don't know if I can answer.
Yeah, it would be tough to answer, man. But the most memorable, I guess, for me is he's back. Man, we went to a spot we grew up hunting our entire life and had not been there all year. It was like the first week of season and was just trying it. And I remember walking out there, shining the flashlight, and it looked like somebody had busted pillows, with duck feathers all over. And man, at daylight, we lit probably like 500 right in the decoys, and every one of them were mallards, and we were done in 10 minutes. It was 2 volleys. We shot that big volley, and they made a loop out there and come back and sat down again. Like they wanted in there bad. And so we killed our limit in 2 volleys, and then we sat there for the next hour just lighting like big groups of ducks. And it was awesome.
How my audio and stuff? Am I frozen still or no?
You're good.
Perfect. I got bad weather moving in down here in Mississippi.
Can you say the question up there, Alex? What's your most memorable hunt in your life and why?
Oh, yeah, I can see it. I got my glasses on. If it's got to be duck hunting, I'd have to go back to my teal hunt in Colorado. Like you were saying, Jake, we got there, and, I mean, there was just feathers everywhere on top of the water. I mean, they were just, like you said, it was like a pillow. Like you could lay down on the bad boy. And I think we limited our teal in like 2 or 3 volleys. It was just boom, 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 early teal season. But if I can go with a goose hunt, because you know me, I like to hunt of the geese, it'd have to be Arkansas, up there by Fisher, Arkansas, northeast. Yeah. We shot a 9-man limit of specs in approximately 15 minutes. It took longer to put the decoys out than it did to get our limit.
Yeah.
I mean, we had just this huge tornado. You see them. I wish I had a YouTube account when that went down, because that would probably be the most watched video I have.
All right, Alex, just
a huge tornado.
You're a robot again.
We ain't getting you, bud, so we're going to swap over.
And
you're robot bad, brother. But hey, if you can hear me the next time you get on some specs like that, give me a call.
Right.
I'm not far from there.
Alan, do you got one right quick? You got a memorable hunt that just...
Well, I got 2, I guess, and my most memorable hunt that actually had anything to do with me, I guess. The first time I ever did it, I killed 2 ducks with 1 shot, and one of them was banded, and it was just a whim, But I think it was shortly after that, I had my wife with me. She just decided she wanted to go duck hunting, and I took her out and had a pair of woodies come in, a drake and a hen, and she rose up and shot 1 time and killed both of them with 1 shot. First time she ever pulled the trigger on a duck, she killed 2 in 1 shot. So that was that was pretty neat to to see first time some beginner's luck. You know how it goes.
That is awesome. That's definitely one to remember for sure, Alan. I think mine would be Alan. I've told you this story about a teal hunt we had back in 2011, 2012 season.
Yeah.
As our early teal season in September, and we got an 8-man limit that day. And it wasn't just, the number of ducks that we harvested that made that hunt special. It was just the camaraderie of the hunt and the fellowship of it. And we did get to, get our limits like that. But and the ducks that were in the area, it's just one of those hunts that you have with your buddies, and it's just like you just don't forget it. You know what I mean? Because I honestly haven't seen ducks in our area, and we definitely hadn't went and got an 8-man limit before. You know what I mean? So it was really special. And the guys that I did it with made it, even more special. So definitely have those. But it's hard sometimes to decide on, because I've had some really good mallard hunts, where we were killing a lot of greenheads and with good guys and things like that. But it's just something about that teal hunt. I've never got on another hunt like that one.
That's right.
Oh, here's Alex. He's waving like crazy down there. I'm sorry, I was talking. Welcome back, Alex.
Can you see me?
Oh, we can see you.
Yeah, we got you.
Can you hear me? I'm just gonna sit over here, okay?
When you cut out, I was saying if you ever get into the specs like that again, give me a call. I'm not far.
You sound like a robot banjo player.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you know when we get into the specs like that.
That's epic, man.
Keep playing that tune, Alex. I like that.
In that short amount of time,
got a little diddly to go with it.
What's funny is Alex does so many hand gestures, and he freezes. He's just like, oh man. Good stuff, guys. So right now we went through all the questions that you guys have posted for us. So we're going to swap over to one of the other questions, and we'll go back to this. Jake, you answered it. You said Phil Robertson from Duck Commander. Alan or Alex, you want to hit on that?
I would be in the same boat with Jake on that one. I've been watching those guys. I think I picked up my first Duck Commander video when I was 15 years old at Walmart, and it was Duck Men 5 Traditions, and it was on VHS. It was on tape, and it just sparked from there, man. I fell in love with watching those guys. They were so entertaining, but so real. You know what I mean? They were just ordinary guys out there shooting some ducks. They wasn't out there like I had watched. I think Buck Gardner. I'd seen him before on TV, and you could tell that he was in video production mode. And those guys were just out there with a camera filming what happened, and it was entertaining to watch. I learned a lot of things, and of course, Phil is so unique in his own way. He's just whatever comes out, but he's a very grounded, true Christian man, and he puts himself out there great, and it's good, clean, quality stuff that you can watch with anybody. And I fell in love with those guys back then, and I was like, those guys really inspired me to do more duck hunting, because I was like, whoa, look at what these guys are doing, and I didn't know nothing about duck hunting at the time. I was the only person in my family who even duck hunted. My dad never has. And it just really that got the ball rolling from there. And since then, I've got the whole collection. I've still got that same VHS. I ain't never got rid of it. I still got it. But I got the whole set on DVD. And I've even got some of the – you remember when they were on the Outdoor Channel when it was Benelli Presents Duck Commander? I've got those DVDs. I've got those DVDs too. So it's nice to go back and look at that stuff before they really hit it big,
For sure. Alex, what about you? You have a duck goose idol? Like your favorite?
Besides myself, no. No. I had the opportunity to hunt with the duck commanders, so I'd have to fall in suit with you guys. I mean, they're hands down what you see, on their little TV show series is what you really got outside the camera when the cameras weren't rolling. But no, I really don't have a duck idol, I guess, if that's even I don't know. I don't have a very good answer for that one. I guess I'd like to thank, my buddy that got me into duck hunting. It's not really an idol, but
Yeah,
I
it's
don't have a
kind
good
of the
answer
same.
for that one. Sorry.
Kind of the same for me. I mean, I wouldn't classify them as a idol. That's just
Yeah.
that was yeah. I mean, that was
Look
just
up.
that was the first person that, other than the first duck hunt I went on, that was the first little bit of waterfowl content I had watched, beside a few little shows that come on Saturday mornings on TV back then, before there was really an outdoor channel. And and those guys just really kind of sparked my curiosity, and I just learned a lot from them just by watching those videos, as far as how they were setting decoys, and the calling, and it's a lot of things, and so I wouldn't really say it's an idol, but they really got me going, in the beginning, and I've always, and ever since then, they've always been my, if I'm going to sit down and go on YouTube, or sit down on TV and watch duck hunting, I pop in one of those DVDs, or I pull them up on YouTube and I watch some of their old videos, just because, I mean, they're fun to watch. It's not Chad Building with the Fowl Life on there making a show for the Outdoor Channel. Those guys are 100% real. They're not putting on, they're not one person on camera and somebody else off. I had the pleasure to meet Phil one time when I was about 17. He was the speaker at a wild game supper here at the church. Had the opportunity to meet him, and I've met Willie since then. So I mean, they're just really good people, and man, as far as duck hunting knowledge, they Phil's the limit, man. I mean, my goodness, at the stuff that man knows, man.
Mine would be the same. Phil Robertson, as you can see, I've been a duckaholic for a long time, and I've got all the DVDs too. And they're, you guys, if you know Duck Commander, you know how unique Phil is, and there's just something really special about him, and the relationship he has with God means a lot to me, and how he witnesses to his viewers and his fellow outdoorsmen is something very, very special, and something I treasure about that man and that family. We've got another question right here from Jacob. We'll pop it up here for you guys. How many decoys do you recommend using in I would assume a big open field or possible flooded field, and how many would you recommend in timber?
B for Jake.
As far as the field, I mean, we always try to use as many decoys as we can match lifeness to. So, like, if there's no wind and our only motion is going to be jerk string, not very many. If it's going to be a windy day in a field, we put out as many as we got. And if that's 200, that's 200. But the wind's got to be rocking to make them. If you got 200 decoys sitting there and it's dead calm, I mean, it's the most unrealistic thing you'll ever see. And in the timber, we're usually making long walks and long boat rides, so as many as we can carry. But day in and day out, we typically use about 15 decoys. But I mean, if we could put out 100 in the timber, we would. If we could, make it look good.
Right.
Yeah.
Alan?
And you brought up a good.
Go ahead, Alex. No, go ahead. Alex, go ahead.
I was just saying, Jake, you brought up a good point about the wind, and the amount of decoys you put out. Because some people they don't even think about that, and they just put out the 200. And then you just got 200 unrealistic decoys sitting out there. And, I mean, that's going to flare birds quicker than, anything. So I thought that was a really good point that you brought up about You know, if the wind's ripping and you're going to get a lot of motion out there, you know, it'll look realistic with 200. But if it's not, you're going to want your decoys as close to the jerk string or whatever kind of motion you can put out there. So, you know, those 6 to a dozen look real. I thought that was a really good point.
Yeah, we learned that by, if you watch our channel, we got some hunts with Commander's Corner. They're a god, and they're one of our buddies. So just when they don't got clients, we get to go. But they hunt fields and they leave their decoys out all the time. And I mean, it'd be 150, 200 decoys. And I mean, it's very obvious. If it's a calm day, it's going to be tough. But if it's windy, I mean, we've, you know, made video clips of it. It just looks 10 times more realistic. And the windier it is, the better. I mean, you know, they'll be rocking in those waves and just look great.
Right. Well, for me, I mean, like over here, you know, we don't really have the, you know, the flooded green timber like they do in Arkansas. We do have a few timber holes that is public ground that when the river gets up, you know, it floods it. We can hunt it then because it's public ground. But it's primarily wood ducks here. If anybody who's ever hunted wood ducks in the timber knows it's mainly pass shooting for the most part, right there shortly after daylight. And so, you know, we don't really, you know, we may throw out a few little decoys in there just to kick the water a little bit to try to draw a little bit of attention, hope they may, you know, kind of get a little low in shooting range. But, you know, and as far as hunting around here on the river flat, I just try to match what I see scouting and when I'm hunting. But now when I go diver hunting, that's a whole nother ball game. I mean, Alex knows he diver hunts too. I may run anywhere from 6 to 9 dozen decoys out there, you know, because it's big water. We're hunting salt water. We're hunting the Gulf of Mexico. There ain't nothing between us and Cuba, so motion is not a problem because you've constantly got. Anybody's been to the beach knows it's always windy at the beach, so motion is not a problem out there. You can put out all the decoys you want, and they look real because there's so much wind and waves on the water, so it's not a problem to get any motion. So, you know, like I said, I run anywhere from 6 to 9 dozen then, but that's a whole nother ball game versus hunting a flooded field or timber, you know. So that's just my experience. I mean, you always have
current out there in the Gulf. You always have current. Like, there's no shortage of wind. You know, I mean, like you said, you don't even have to worry about that. You just throw whatever you have and just throw the whole kitchen sink out there.
That's right. Plus the tide is coming in and out. The tide's coming in and out, you know, and there's no reason for a jerk string out there because, I mean, they're not going to see those ripples anyway. They're not going to see those ripples over the waves. So plenty of motion, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, with like the tide movement, even if they aren't moving up and down, the tide movement, you're going to see the ripple coming off the decoys behind it, and it makes it look like they're actually swimming. So
right.
Once again, with diver duck, just throw them out there and get ready.
Right.
For me, it's you know, we usually early season we're using a lot of decoys. When we start getting in late season, we're constantly pulling decoys out, smaller and smaller to there at the end of late season. You know, we may just be hunting over like 2 mallard drake and a hen decoy, and that's it. You know, that may be all we have because by the time they leave Arkansas, across the river, and get over here to Mississippi, you know, they're pressured pretty good, and it's a constant evaluation of everything. You know what I mean? From depending on wind, depending on weather, but definitely start out early season. We start out with, you know, good bulk of decoys, and as it goes on, what I've seen in the past is that we're slowly just taking decoys out, you know, until they're at the end. Like I said, we may only have a half a dozen out there, if that, you know, depending on what the ducks are doing and how they're acting.
Right.
Hey, Duckalope, have you hunted or have you looked at Jeff's money-wise? That's expensive to go hunt with that guy.
Yeah, going back to our idol. Hold on, sorry, that's a question. Duckalope said Jeff Coates was his. I don't know if you guys know Jeff Coates. He does hunt on the Atlantic side, and he does. He's a really cool guy, but he, So anyway, here's a question for us. Best motion decoy on the market. Why? Alan, why don't you take that? And since you just discovered that little thing you discovered the other day.
Well, I wasn't going to talk about that till I dropped my video.
Okay, well, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it yet.
I mean, it's not even even on the market. Not even on the market yet. So,
well, there you go. It don't count then. As far as I don't think there's anything. I think manual jerk string is their best way to go for motion. In my opinion, they've got ripplers and these Real Decoy. I think that's the name of the company, Real Decoy, and Banded Mallard. They got some good stuff, but there's always something about it, like it's either real noisy or something like that. Like, have y'all ever seen the Banded Mallard? Y'all know what I'm talking about, where his head turns and dumps in the water?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
man. If you watch that YouTube video, man, that thing's just like cluck 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 cluck, and I'm like, I don't like that. But how do you make something like that and make it silent?
Right. Exactly.
It's actually pretty silent. I've used them in the past. Back when I was pro staffing and stuff like that, I've used them. They're actually pretty good. And I'll tell you, the bird sucked right on top of them. But I started finding out states are more and more getting away from automated decoys. Like, I don't even think you can use them in Arkansas. Am I correct on that?
No, you can't. You can use a jerk string, and that's it.
That's right. Yeah. So I mean,
on private, you can use.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, and they're out of Arkansas too. Banded Mallard's out of Arkansas, and it's funny that he makes a decoy that you can't even really use in your home state unless you hunt private. But they're a good decoy, but they're really not as loud as you think they were. But like you said, Derek, I'm going jerk string, 99.9% of the time. Just because
that's same for us, jerk strings. And back before that, though, pulsators, we use those a lot. They look great and spew up water on sunny days. If it's cloudy, we really didn't use them much, but which is hard to do anything on a cloudy day. But jerk strings and Mojos were awesome there for a while, but they kind of lost their effect down there where we're at.
You can use wind driven, correct? In Arkansas?
No, you can only use a traditional jerk string.
Really? Can't even use a wind one, huh?
That's how it's worded. You can only use a traditional jerk string and standard decoys. That's it.
I got you.
Because we were thinking about like trying to flag them or something like goose hunting, but I don't know if that would fly or not.
I've never used one of those pulsators. I've always wanted to get one of those Higdon pulsators. They say they work really good, but I've never hunted over one. But I've always wanted to try one. I personally don't know anybody around here that uses them, so that's always kind of been in the back of my mind as maybe one way I could be different.
They're good in the right situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I messed up. I had a bluebill one, Alan, and I put it out there, and I mean the divers loved it, but it got too rough and it capsized.
Yeah, I wouldn't try. I wouldn't put anything out there in that salt water. I don't even use Mojos whenever I'm hunting divers out there. Now I got a friend of mine does. He custom made some really tall, stakes to put his Mojos on out there, so they don't have to take the chance of them, getting knocked out in the water. He can drive them down real deep in the sand, and there's no chance for them getting wet salt water, because I mean that thing gets salt water on its shot. You might as well throw it away.
Oh yeah,
it's going to destroy it. But I don't use them personally. I thought about maybe trying it this year, making me some tall stakes myself, just to try and see if it may help out a little bit, but for the most part, the diver hunt is not really that hard. Once they get up and start stirring, they respond to a call about like a teal. They sucker in pretty easy. So.
Right.
Yeah. Lynn.
Okay. Washington has the same regulations as Arkansas has.
I didn't know that.
That may be so. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
As far as on the Arkansas side,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Jake were talking on the phone the other night, and he got to telling me all these rules and regulations over there in the state of Arkansas. And I mean, I was exhausted just listening to him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and he's like, there's a book, a handbook that you got to read before you cross state lines. I mean, it's just, so, and I'm glad we're talking about that because it really got me thinking, duck capital of the world. Everybody wants to go there and hunt. So with the rules that are in place, like those guys don't have it easy. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have it easy. I think the perception is, Jake, that, you go to Arkansas, you're just going to get your limits, nothing but greenheads, and that's the only place you'll ever want to go hunt. I honestly do. I think people think that. I thought that for many years myself. I was like,
you better be going to a guide.
Yeah, for sure. Better still read over that regulation book too.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not easy, that's for sure, man. I mean, which has gotten worse every year. I'm hoping for a change in the opposite direction at some point. And just what happened was we set records for duck license sales, state duck license sales, like 2 or 3 years in a row. And I mean, like a lot of other states are dropping. The total waterfowl has went down, but Arkansas has kept climbing. And I guess the internet and everything, people are just seeing it more and coming over more. But I guess they were just trying to curb all that. They were encountering a lot of problems that they never had before. So, and their solution was to just slap a bunch of rules down, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, I think the, perception is that you can just go over and kill what you want. And after talking to you and even now, they're even changing stuff to where, like you said, out-of-staters only has so many days that they can hunt, public land and things like that. So it's really changing.
Like you can still come hunt federal all you want. You just can't hunt the state stuff, which is plenty good. I mean, like I was telling you, most of what we hunted before we started filming was federal. I mean, like Alex was talking about Cache River, all that's federal. A lot of the best stuff in the state is federal. So you can go do that. But no, they block you down to 5 days per time you come on the WMAs, and it can only be at certain times.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like Dr. Duck, or go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, you can only come and hunt those WMAs like twice a year, maybe 3, right?
I think 3.
During the time?
Yeah.
What was that?
But it's kind of like Dr. Duck says, man, on his stuff, if anybody watches it, it's like you're investing in the future every time you go, man. And like the first couple times you go, you need to just be building the database. And then you may luck up and get on them, but it's going to be more about learning a couple of spots you pick out. And the more you go, that's how you're going to get on them. If you're just coming with no knowledge or nothing, I mean, it's going to be hard to go anywhere in the world and just smoke them the first couple times you go, unless you just get super blessed.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, WC,
yes, he does have a good question. Let's get it pulled up. So W6 says, him and Alex were talking about it earlier. What do you guys think of the hot cropping up and holding up the migration? I assume he's talking about hot cropping up in like the Midwest area is what I would assume he's talking about. And I would love to hear Alan and Jake or anybody's opinion on this.
Well, I'll go on this one. I tend to be opposite of everybody else. Like, I mean, there's just so much complaining duck hunting. I just don't care, man. They're either going to be here or not, and we're going to go kill them. You know, like we hadn't seen a massive difference in the migration, like a lot of people say. Of course, we're in one of the best states, you know, but a lot of people even here complain about that, you know, especially Missouri. It's right north of us. So everybody blames Missouri, you know, Tony Vandemore. They're holding all the ducks. And I mean, I just don't believe it, man. I mean, I know they're holding some ducks. It's just, I mean, if I was them, I'd be doing it. So I'm not going to sit here just because I can't do it and blame everybody. You know, would it help if they completely outlawed hunting over unharvested crops? Maybe. But if you don't get the snow and the snow cover over those no-till places up there, that's farming practices. That's not duck hunters. You're not going to change that. If you don't get the snow cover, you're not going to drive them anyway.
Yeah,
I think it's more, if they are getting stopped by the migration, I think it's more no-till farmers who don't have anything to do with waterfowl hunting than it is people flooding up, you know, standing corn and stuff.
Yeah, I think the same way. I mean, you know, they begin their migration. They're coming down, and once they get onto a food source, they're pretty much not going to leave until they have a reason to, whether it be hunting pressure or ice. And as long as, even if it's snow on the ground, if they can still get the food, they're not going anywhere. They're going to stay there. They don't have any reason to leave. So I agree with you completely. I feel the same way. I mean, because that's basically what it boils down to. You know, everybody's like, oh, we need a good front to push them this way, and some of them are going to migrate with that front, but a lot of them, unless they have a reason to, they're not going anywhere. I mean, because I have watched front after front after front come down and get no results from it. So I mean, it's got to be a sure enough snow or ice storm to really put them on the move.
Polar vortex.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. 2017.
Yeah. I actually watched a cool video I want to tell you guys about last night on YouTube. You should go look at a Weather Direct report for 2021 winter season. And that's what they're calling for, that up there they're going to have a big polar vortex, and we're going to have a winter blast or something like that. It's what we're going to have down here. So, you know,
all those words sound awesome.
Exactly.
Hey, this year has been so crazy anyway. Why not? That's the only thing left that can happen. That's the only thing left that can happen is to have a brutal winter.
But my thing is, Derek, you heard that from the weatherman, huh?
No, this is a guy on YouTube who, like, I guess he's looking at the Farmer's Almanac or something like that. He's doing something like that. I mean, hey, man,
I got you.
Let's stay positive.
That's the only job where you can be completely and utterly wrong and still collect a paycheck at the end of the day.
Yeah, you can be a Democrat too, but we won't get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if I was just going to add one more thing, that I just see a lot of people all over complaining about hot cropping, complaining about pressure. And I mean, by the way I look at it, I've been duck hunting my entire life, man. And now is the best time. We kill more. Everybody I talk to kill more. Like, just go hunt, man. Like, everybody's looking for reasons to why things ain't going the way they want. And it's just like, the glory days are right now. So get out there and enjoy them. And if the ducks ain't where you are, go where they are. I mean, it really boils down to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
you gotta stay running and gunning, man. You honestly do. You gotta keep if you ain't hunting, you gotta keep the road hot.
Yeah, I mean, look at the waterfowl hatch, you know, all that information on their breeding and stuff. I mean, it's just on the uptick. They're, you know, recording the most waterfowl in, you know, decades and decades, year in and year out. So, I mean, there's bird population out there for sure. It's just, you know, they're not they're not making it down as far where I'm at it as much. They still get down here, no doubt about it. But like you said, we need the cold front to really get them down here because they're lazy. I mean, just like me, I'm only going to go as far as I have to get my food and my water. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not going any further than that.
And so you came up to Arkansas and wolfed on 9 limits. That's how you do it.
Exactly. And then this year I'm going, like last year I went to Illinois for snow goose. This year I'm going to go to Northeast Missouri. Pretty soon I'll be in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, waterfowl is the one thing to where you can't just like go do it wherever you want. You got to kind of sacrifice and be mobile. You know, deer hunting, you can pretty well do that wherever. But
Right.
Yeah. Unless you live where I am and there's a bunch of poachers.
Where do you live?
South Mississippi. I'm like 40 minutes north of New Orleans, Louisiana.
Like around Natchez?
No. At the bottom of the state.
I don't
like
guess
New
I've ever
New
been
Orleans,
down there.
Louisiana?
Oh, like Biloxi and stuff.
Yes, Biloxi.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm like 15 minutes from Biloxi.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they him and Alan are pretty far. They we were talking and they were showing me where they hunt, and I was like, man, y'all hunting out in the ocean. I mean, they are. Alan's like, we are. That's exactly where we're hunting, in the ocean. You know, I'm like, man, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's what I call big water hunting right there.
Yeah.
Nothing between us but decoys and Cuba. That's it.
Lynn says they can shoot 7 greenheads. I would assume that's the mallard limit.
Yeah.
They can
Watch-
shoot
yeah,
7 mallards. How many greenheads? How many hens? 4 drakes, 2 hens. No more 2 hens.
I thought it was 6, but
5. Sorry,
Washington.
that's a lot.
Like, I think the Pacific Highway has, huh?
That's a lot. That's a lot of mallards. How many can y'all kill, Jake? 5 or 4?
4.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that
It's-
Mississippi
Yeah,
that's
the
Highway.
Pacific Flyway, man. They got it.
Oh yeah, he's out. Lynn's in Washington, so
7
Yeah.
mallards, and I think they get like 110 days, something like that.
yeah, they got a long season.
Wow. That's
I hope to
insane.
make my way to Washington, by the way. Lord willing.
That's I've always wanted to go there. Always.
That's what he says. Only 2 hens. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, Alan, you always say Washington State. Washington State. That's where he wants to go.
That's where I want to go.
I just want to go to Arkansas. I just want to go across the river. That's it.
I just want to go
Yeah,
somewhere. I just want to go
could've
somewhere where
already
there's
been there.
some ducks.
Right. Yeah, I mean 7 mallards. That right there. That'd be pretty awesome if you take 4 guys and everybody can go kill 7 mallards. But
Yeah.
that's I wouldn't do it in Arkansas. That's for sure.
No. You can do it, but it wouldn't turn out good for you.
All right. Or are the GWs pretty good over there? Like, you know, do y'all see them pretty regular? I mean, with all the rules and regulations y'all have over there, Jake, or I mean,
Yeah.
how many rules you think there'd be sitting at every boat ramp, you know, all up and down the rivers?
It really depends on where you go, man, and just kind of how it shakes out for you, you know. I mean, like last year, we didn't get checked not one time, but the year before that, we got checked 2 or 3 times. But even before we were filming and stuff, we were 100% by the book, just because of it's like a God thing for us, you know, obey the governing authorities. So we try to do our best, but there's so many. It's kind of like driving. You do forget, or you make a mistake. You duck hunt every single day. You're wore out. You're tired, and you forget how many shells you got or something like that. But we certainly try our best every single day. It's a big deal to us. But luckily, I've never gotten a ticket.
Right.
Thankfully. Or no, I take that back. I did get one for like you can't even have on the federal ground, you can't even have more than a box in your truck. And I had a case in my truck. I was like traveling and staying with friends, and I completely forgot about it, and got a ticket for that,
Wow.
which was frustrating.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's in your truck.
Yeah, and they do that so you can't shoot your box and come back and get it. But I mean,
Right.
we killed one duck that day. It was pretty obvious that we wasn't doing that,
Right.
you know. And I was like,
Right.
man, come on, it was a mistake, you know. But it just didn't.
Wow.
That's how it falls sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
But most of our game wardens are awesome. I mean, they're good guys and they're cool and understanding. But just like anything else, there are a few that can ruin your day.
Right. There's always that
The
one
whole
guy.
state of Louisiana.
Yeah.
The whole state of Louisiana.
We're just gonna stick to this because we're at an hour in. And I'm not seeing any questions pop up. I thought this would be a good one to ask individually. Why are you so obsessed with ducks or geese? Why are you so obsessed with them?
Real quick, I'd like to say thank you for adding the geese in there. You know,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Okay.
You're welcome. I think about you.
I know, I like it. But I'll let somebody else pick it up. I just had to give you props for putting my geese in there, you know. But I'll let somebody else go.
Well, for me, I mean, the ducks. I grew up as a deer hunter. Like I said, nobody in my family duck hunted. It was just me. Me and my cousin went out, and that really kind of got me going because, I mean, and everybody in my family still hunted for deer hunting. So you go out there at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the evening, and you sit there, you know, for 3 or 4 or 5 hours, however long you're there, and either you see something or you don't. And you got to be quiet. You got to be still. You got to pay attention to your scent and this and that. There's just so many little things. Where duck hunting, man, we can go out there and we can talk. We can bring a heater if we want to. We can cook breakfast. We got coffee in the blind. I mean, it's just way more camaraderie and way more enjoyable to me versus going out there and being a stiff in the woods. You know, so that's really what got me on it more. Is it was just more enjoyable. You know.
Alex?
I'm obsessed with goose because I love the pure amount of numbers. Obviously, like everything what Alan said, you know, cooking, hanging out, you know, just joking, you know, just hanging out with the guys. My wife comes, so hanging out with the girls. It's just a fun family, you know, time. But I love watching the geese, like just the sheer number of geese, and you're trying to trick them. You know, it just takes one little thing for it not to go your way. I mean, you got to have the stars align day in and day out to get your limits, not even get your limits, but to get the birds to even work and have a chance to even pull the trigger on them. And that's what I love, that just, you know, you're thinking over every detail that's out there. So that's what keeps me awake at night, you know, like, man, like, how do I need to, you know, which way is the wind, all that stuff, but, you know, just live and eat it.
Right.
Well, Jake, I'm real interested to hear your side of this because, you know, like you said, you grew up duck hunting. You've been doing it since you was 3-4 years old. So real interested in what drives your obsession for ducks.
Well, yeah, I mean, a big part of that was growing up like I did. And here in Arkansas, it really is a part of the culture, man. I mean, everybody's obsessed with ducks. I mean, just about everybody at some point has been. So, and it's really everything about it. But I'm a lot like Alex, and I call what he said the game. I like playing the game, and it's a chess match, you know, and that's what keeps me going. But I love everything about it: the camaraderie, the being out in God's creation, but chasing mallards and figuring them out and having it go down the right way with all your best buddies. I mean, there just ain't nothing better than that.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. There's just something so it is a challenge. Like you guys are saying, like Mud Duck says here, but it's one of the most rewarding challenges in my opinion. There's just like you guys all point out great points, and there's just something about it to where from the birds working, from the buddies and making the memories, and it seems like to me like every duck hunt is different. It's always different somehow, and to me that makes it special every time because every time it's new.
Right.
You may be hunting for years, but it's like every time you go, it's new because you're either in a different area or you're hunting with somebody different or whatever it may be. It's just something about it that's special and new every time, and that's kind of what drives me, and I love that about waterfowl. And then getting to meet Alan and Alex and Jake and us. Now we've got a friendship with each other, and to me it's very valuable. You can't put a price on it because what. Who knows where this will go? Jake's invited us over there to come hunt with him. Jake, you ought to know you're more than welcome to come over here and hunt with us. We want you to. We want to hunt together. We obviously we all have the same passion for it. So, that's my thing about it.
Yeah, I mean, something that stands out about waterfowl hunting too is kind of like you're saying, it's a team game, and there's not really much other hunting like that to where you're like working with your buddies, to accomplish the same goal like that.
That's right.
Yeah. Like Lynn said, good, clean fun, It's just and I'm guilty. I don't go to church as much as I should, but waking up early in the morning and seeing the sunrise and seeing what was created for you, I mean, just adds a whole nother dimension to the aspect of seeing, a lot of city folk, and I don't know, I could be kind of, whatever, but the people that live in like the city jungles and stuff, they don't get out and see nature at its finest. And, people throw spit at us for, going out there and harvesting, these animals and stuff like that. But that's just them looking at us trying to kill things.
Yeah.
I think we'd all agree on here and everyone watching, it's way more than just going out there and killing, animals. It's more of, taking in the whole enchilada.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Man, go ahead, Jake.
I was just going to say, if you can't look at a greenhead and see God, I mean,
yeah,
you're blind.
There's nothing hardly more beautiful than that.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't have many of them over here in my part of the world. We have an abundant supply. We have an abundant supply of wood ducks. But man, in all honesty, just because that's what we have, I can't help it. But man, there's no. My favorite thing about duck hunting, and I'm gonna say my favorite, but it's my most enjoyable, most memorable part. I look forward to the most, other than hopefully killing a bunch of ducks and enjoying the whole aspect of the hunt. But man, standing out there in the wood, in the marsh or in the timber or wherever I may be hunting, and that sun starting to break that trees, and you start hearing those early woodies flying, calling, man, it's just a beautiful sound and experience. And it takes me back to being a little boy at the hunting club my daddy was in when I was coming up as a kid. It was full of cypress swamps. It was on the river, cypress swamps and lakes everywhere. And there were a few guys in the club that duck hunted. My dad didn't. We were deer hunters back then. But I remember sitting there in that tree stand as a little boy when Daddy would put me up there, 7 or 8, 9 years old by myself, and he'd go get another stand nearby. And I remember sitting there in that tree stand and hearing those wood ducks just flying over and hearing them calling. And it just takes me back to then, because it still sounds the same. Nothing's changed. So it's just, I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I got it. Maybe a dumb question. Mind you, I've never hunted the southern states like Alabama, Mississippi, and Arkansas, but gators, y'all got to worry about them during the season. And I personally don't. Being here up here in North Mississippi, that's something I've never had to deal with, gators, and always felt sorry for the guys that did.
Yeah, they're pretty thick in southern Arkansas. We don't have them. You know, we hunt all over the state, so sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. I mean, you can go watch our videos, and we got gators in several videos. One hunt 2 years ago, it was 28 degrees, ice, and I guess the water was warmer than the air temperature in the outside, and I shot a wood duck down and went and got it, and 30 seconds later, 10-footer pops up where I just walked, checking out what just came through there. Yep. Yeah, shot 2 other ducks down the middle of this thing. He goes out there and just nose to nose with them. I guess it was just too cold for him to eat them, but yeah, we got plenty, and they're everywhere. And people get bit from time to time stepping on them, duck hunting.
Yep.
Yeah. Real quick to add on to what you're saying, Jake, we when I was hunting with the Robinsons down here in South, I guess it'd be Southeast Louisiana, early teal season, there's gators everywhere. I mean, it's still gator season going on. And we shot 2 or 3 teal, and we don't even bring dogs out. I mean, there's just gators everywhere. I mean, you got to be in the boat. You're not walking in the marsh down here. So you got to be in the boat. You got to pull up to them, pick them up. But before we could even recover them, we had, I want to say at least 2, maybe 3 teal were actually eaten. You know, like the gator came out, thank you very much. You know, and then he stayed like right in front of our boat, you know, and like a bird would hit the water. Like the first couple, we were like, okay, is he really going to eat all of our ducks? And sure enough, I mean, boom, boom. So it's like we'd shoot him and we'd crank up the motor and try to get out there and pick him up before he got to him. It was ridiculous. And we started asking ourselves, like, I mean, we're killing these birds, but does that count against our limit? Like, we're not harvesting them. So,
we have them do that.
I mean, my wife. Huh?
Yeah. No, I was just saying we have them do that to us fishing sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're a big problem.
So
They're a big problem over here too. I've seen a few laid on the bank or laid on the log during regular duck season on a good, you know, because you know these winters we've been having around here have been, you know, good grief in the high 70s or, you know, I mean low 70s, high 60s for the most part. They'll be laid out on the log sunning. I've seen them a few times during regular duck season, but they're primarily a problem during teal season because we'll be setting our decoys and there they are, you know, they'll be 40, 50 yards away, and they're curious animals by nature. You're throwing that decoy out there splashing, and here they come. They want to see what's going on over there, and you got to throw a stick at him or something, try to, you know, run him off. And, you know, it's always a couple of us out there. So I'll tell one guy, usually Cade, I'll be like, hey, man, look, I got this. You just, you know, we done seen this one gator right here. Keep your light. Let's keep shining, see where he's at, because he'll be easing towards you. He ain't scared of you. I've never heard of anybody around here, you know, being bothered by one, but they get pretty close. But, you know, the world record alligator was killed right here in my town where I live back in 2000, I don't know, 12, 13, 14. It was 15 foot 1 inch and weighed just over 1,000 pounds. It was killed right here in Camden, Alabama, where I live on the same river system I hunt. I mean, he was a monster.
Yeah.
W6 asks, is that why y'all don't run dogs?
That's a big part of why I don't fool with one, because their alligators are very, very thick over here where I'm at, and to be honest, I really don't think that I have the patience for a dog, so I rely on myself to pick them up. So
we've always ran dogs. Or I'm sorry, Alex, go ahead.
No, go. You got it.
No, I was just we've always ran dogs in the past, but since we kind of started filming, and really for the past, you know, several years, I don't really know, the timing just hadn't been right. I was in college and all that, and didn't have time to take care of one like I needed to. But yeah, hunting with a dog is awesome, and we plan to in the near future, Lord willing. You're not duck hunting if you don't have a dog.
Yeah. I was gonna say during teal season we don't run dogs. It's just like Alan was saying, there's too many gators. But once it starts cooling off, once the water, gets down to 70 and below, the gators, I mean, but they're not real like active, out there trying to feed. So yeah, we use it. I use a dog. I got a Chesapeake, but
yeah. Go ahead, Alan.
Nobody around here uses a dog during teal season, because I mean there has been instances out here where a dog was attacked by an alligator. I don't know personally of any that were eaten or drowned by them, but the dog going out running across the marsh or swimming to pick up a duck, and the gator gets in behind him and starts getting at him, but the hunter runs out there and starts shooting at him to shoo him off, and it's happened quite a bit. So nobody around here fools with them during the early season, and primarily they'll also kind of restrain the dog in the first couple weeks of regular season here, because it may be cooling down, but the water temp is still in the high 60s, low 70s, and they're still active for the most part. So
yeah. And I feel bad for the dog during teal. Like if somebody takes a dog out during early teal season down here, I just kind of want to shake them and say, "Hey, is it really worth it?" Like there's just gators everywhere down here, and my dog will not come out with me during early teal season. Kind of like what you're saying now. On the first week or two of regular season, I'll start looking, and if I see him kind of moseying around, like starting to disappear, then the dog comes out. But early teal season, no dog. No dog.
No.
And most of you guys know I have a dog. Jake may not know that, but I think he's only in a couple of my videos, and there's a reason for that. I think as a dog owner, you definitely need to take your dog hunting with you as much as possible. But there's some situations that your dog just don't need to be put in my opinion. There's places I go hunting that my dog ain't never going out there. I can tell you that right now, because I got to take into concept my dog weighs 95 pounds. He's a big dog. And there's just, place sloughs that we hunt that's full of this grass. I can't remember the name of it that grows. And it looks like it's grass floating on top of the water. But if my dog was to jump out there in that and try to get after, a duck or something, it'd be a bad situation for him. And my dog means too much to me to put him in those type of situations, and I'm not going to, So, but that's why if you see one of my videos, you may see my dog, and then I may have another video where you don't see my dog. I take him as much as I can, but again, I'm not going to put him in a situation, to where he's going to get hurt or something like that, because he's still got to come home to mama too,
All right.
He ain't just my dog. He's my wife
right.
and my kid's dog. You know what I'm saying? So, got to take those things in consideration. But I know there's some guys out there like, I got a buddy who lives down the road and his dogs don't come out of their pen until duck season. And I feel, I hate that, like I made a decision when I got a dog, I wasn't going to do that. He ain't going to stay in the pen and only come out during duck season. That just ain't no life for a dog, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
Oh, well, guys, I don't have any more questions for you. I'm not seeing any questions pop up. Alan, Alex, Jake, especially, thank you for joining with us tonight. We really enjoyed you being on here. It was a pleasure. Can't thank you enough. You guys that are watching, if you don't know who Chasing Green is on YouTube, you are missing out. Head on over to his channel. Hit that subscribe button. Jake and Glenn make some awesome waterfowl and fishing videos. So y'all go check them out. As always, Alan from Black Belt Waterfowl, Alex from True Southern Waterfowl. You guys go check out their channel. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for joining us on our weekly chats. And we're going to get up out of here, and we will see y'all on the next one next week.